Welcome back to the Ross Bolin podcast. I am him.
Please clap.
And I hope you're having a great week, keeping your head up, stacking good days. Not sure if you've noticed, but we live in a pretty angry world, is how I would describe it. So much anger and hate out there right now. All this animosity. That's why we're starting today's show with a brand new segment, debuting a new segment here, and it's called Let the Hate Out. If you've got hate in your heart, let it out. We'll use this segment to air out things we hate. And that way we can let some of the hate go and hopefully live a happier, healthier life as a result. If you've got something you hate that you want me to air out, DM it to me on Instagram or Twitter at WRBolin, and I'll see what I can do. Now, here are some things I currently hate. First up, daylight saving time. For starters, it's daylight saving time, not daylight savings time. Singular saving. It is time for saving daylight, not time for daylight savings. It's not a sale at Macy's. It's daylight saving time. I don't know how we got here, but we have to go back to at least saying it correctly, or we're going to endure this nonsense for no reason. So it's been 48 hours, and I am still not clear on if I gained or lost an hour of sleep. And I am 37 years old, a fully grown adult man who's been living in the professional world for 14 years now, and I still, for the life of me, cannot remember which one gives and which one takes away. All I know is my kids won't go to sleep on time, and as a result, I'm never going to see my wife again. I'm pretty sure we actually moved the clocks up an hour and lost an hour of sleep as a result a few days ago. And then in November, when we roll the clocks back, we'll gain an hour of sleep, if I'm not mistaken, but I probably am mistaken. I'm not sure. Nobody is sure. But I am sure I miss my wife. For those of you who aren't married with children, no Al Bundy, the only one-on-one time you get with your wife is after your kids go to sleep. So if some dumbass daylight saving time shit kicks in or shuts off, your kids suddenly lose all sense of their circadian rhythm, and bedtime takes 2 freaking hours. My 2-year-old son fell asleep at 9 p.m. last night. Fucking ridiculous. So by the time the kids are down for sleep, then you have to deal with how out of whack your own circadian rhythm is, and you're too tired to really hang. Sad, very unfair. People in Arizona and Hawaii, where they do not practice daylight saving time, continue laughing at the rest of us who are suffering through this shit. So yeah, it's great that the sun is up until 8 p.m. now. I really, really like that part. I like getting more sunlight. That part is fun. But it's not great that I will never see my wife again. Aside from Arizona and Hawaii here in the U.S., Japan, as a country, on the whole, does not do daylight saving time. Neither does China. Neither does most of Russia. Most African and South American countries don't observe it either. Fewer than 40% of the countries in the world currently observe this shit. So what the hell are we doing here? We're not even all on the same page. We're not even all on the same page within our own freaking country because Arizona and Hawaii are wisely out on this shit. So I don't get it. I hate daylight saving time. I'm sick of hearing everyone call it daylight savings time. I'm tired of having to talk about this every year. And someone needs to really actually do something about it. Every year, you see some senator or congressman or whatever present a bill to end daylight saving time, and it makes the rounds on social media, and everybody gets all stoked about it, like, oh, maybe it'll finally end. And then it never fucking does. Probably because our government never does anything actually productive or good. I can't stand it. Cannot stand it. It being daylight saving time, which I hate. All right, time to let some more hate out. What's next? You might be asking. I hate people who ride your bumper, swerve in and out of lanes, speed, and drive like maniacs on residential roads only to end up next to you at the next red light. And look, I get that there is something cathartic about slamming on the gas, or in my case, the electricity, and hauling ass. I get that. I do it regularly. I fucking love it. I love that feeling. I really do. I understand. But I don't do it in traffic. I certainly don't do it when I can see a red light like a quarter mile ahead of me. And I really don't do it unless there aren't any other cars around because, duh, safety reasons. So like on my way to work every day, I get on a stretch of a street called Manchac here in Austin, Texas, and I hope I'm not ratting myself out to a local cop who's going to set a speed trap and bust my ass. But there's a long stretch of road where there are no lights, it's a straightaway, and there are rarely any other cars around me, and the speed limit I think is 40, but I disregard that, and sometimes I hit 70, sometimes I hit 70. I go 30 over, I don't give a fuck, because there's nobody around, there's no risk, there's no danger, and I like having a little bit of fucking freedom on the road there for just a few minutes on my way back to the grind. You know what I mean? So I get it. I get it. Like it does something for you, right? But what do I like? This is coming up because yesterday on my way to the office, some psycho in a Honda Civic, which is not, you know, to say anything stereotypically about Honda Civic drivers, it would just happen to be a Honda Civic. We're in a stretch of road with there's pretty congested, quite a few vehicles around us, less than a quarter mile from a stoplight that is going from yellow to red as I am observing. And this dude is swerving in and out and in and out and almost hits like 3 different people. And then I pulled up to the light and just looked over and he's just sitting next to me. And I was like, dude, why? What are you accomplishing? What is happening? You swerved in and out of this lane 4 times to gain 1 extra car length for 30 seconds before you ended up right next to me at the next light, you half-wit. You almost killed yourself, me, and like 7 other drivers to end up in the same fucking spot as us. Absolutely idiotic waste of energy and creation of danger for literally no reason. I hate it. Now, I'm at the point where I want a hotline where I can call and report dickhead drivers. You know, you'll see like commercial vehicles on the road with like a bumper sticker that says like, call this number to tell me how I'm driving or whatever. I want a number for regular, non-commercial drivers. And maybe if like X amount of people call and complain about the same license plate number driving like a dickhead, there's some type of punishment or something, like a public humiliation of sorts, something. And anyone who listens to this show or has for a long time knows my stance on road rage is do not engage. Do not flip anyone off. No middle fingers. None of the fingers. Don't hold them up. Do not roll your window down and yell at anyone. Don't do it. Don't even honk at people because you never know when the person you honk at was 1 honk away from pulling the strap and suddenly you're in a shootout and you don't want that. But these speeding and swerving up to a red light motherfuckers are really testing my patience at this point. I hate these people. Don't be these people. Do not be these people. Next up, grown-ups who chew with their mouths open. Fuck is wrong with you? I don't have a long rant here. I just wanted to say I hate that. Close your mouth and chew your food as silently as possible. We don't want to hear or see what you've got going on in your gullet. Stop it. Nobody wants that. You need to get your shit together. And finally, I hate doing my kids' laundry. And I don't think anybody really loves doing laundry. Like, it's a chore. It's a chore. It can be annoying. It's one of those daunting things that's always on your to-do list. And then you never get around to it, and then there's so much of it that it's overwhelming. But doing your own laundry is an enjoyable walk in the park compared to doing children's laundry, which absolutely sucks ass. Every child under 10 years of old has 1 million socks, but somehow not a single matching pair. Just 1 million individual socks without a partner. Where did all the matching socks go? Is there a sock goblin stealing one of each sock and laughing at me while I desperately search for a match? Like, I'm about to put all these one-off socks in a pile and start a bonfire in the middle of a no-burn session situation. It's so annoying how they never have matching socks in the laundry pile. I don't know where they are. I don't know where to find them. I have looked. I have tried. They're not stuck in the fucking washing machine in like the crevice of that goddamn vent or whatever the fuck that thing is in there. They're just nowhere to be found. They're gone. Also, folding tiny pants and shirts is harder than normal adult regular size fucking clothing. It's significantly harder. You need much more nimble fingers. And I don't possess those anymore. The pants, the little pants, the tiny fucking little person pants, they don't stack the way normal adult-sized pants do. You get 5 pants stacked, and the stack falls over because these tiny pants have like a terrible center of gravity for some inexplicable reason. I can't like figure it out just by looking at it. I would need someone who knows like a combination of math and science and geometry to in physics to explain to me why, but like you can't even like get a proper pile going because it topples. And all their clothes are so cute and tiny and just impossible to fold. How do you fold a fucking tutu, bro? I'm doing laundry last night. Massive pile of it's my laundry mixed with my kids' laundry and my wife's laundry. So it's just a disaster because I got to create 4 separate fucking, not even piles, but like 4 separate sections of laundry. Like I try to do a stack of my like tops, like shirts, right? And then a stack of like pants, and then a stack of shorts, and then underwear and socks. And that's for each person. So like 4 stacks for me, 4 for my wife, 4 for my son, 4 for my stepdaughter. There's just stacks everywhere. I have to use the entire kitchen table to do my family's laundry. And this is one of my chores. It's one of the things I have as my responsibility in my house. I'm a laundry guy, okay? And I come across a tutu, and I don't which pile does this even go in? It doesn't fold. It's frilly. What is this? I wasn't built for this. My fingers hurt, and now my back's going to hurt because I just pulled landscaping duty. So every time I get sad about my kids growing up, which is often, like roughly 146 times a day, I try to remind myself that at least I won't have to do their laundry when they're older. And I know some of you who have teenage children are probably laughing like, oh, just you wait. It'll never happen. You'll always be doing their laundry. No, fuck that. This is one of those things I am absolutely positively confident that I will train my own children to do, because when you go off to college in the real world and you're no longer in your mom and dad's house, at the very least you need to know how to do your laundry. And this is one thing my parents did pass on to me correctly. I'll throw one that they didn't. I don't know how to cook anything, as many of you know, but I do know how to do laundry, and that was a huge help when I got to college. So I want my kids to have that, and I'm praying that by the time they're in high school, probably late middle school, early high school, we get this nailed down so I don't have to fuck with their shit anymore. In fact, if I can go even further, I'm going to try to make it to where they have to do my laundry for at least a couple of years before they leave the house. So I'm just completely out on laundry at that point. That's my dream. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Stop laughing at me. I'm just saying it's my dream. Let me have my dream. So hopefully one day, like 10 to 15 years from now, I'll be freed from this. And as I say this out loud, I of course realize this will eventually be something that I miss dearly. Because that's how everything with parenting works, unfortunately. You're annoyed that it takes 2 hours to get your kids to sleep, and then 10 years down the road, you'd literally give anything to be able to go back and do that all over again. Life is cruel. Love is torture. Also, I now have had to transition from doing my kids' laundry during the day to doing it at night after they are asleep. Otherwise, my 2-year-old son just stands there right next to me at the kitchen table, and every time I pick up a piece of clothing to fold and sort, he yells, "Hey, that my pants. Hey, that my shirt. Hey, that my socks. Hey, that my pants. Hey, that my pants. Hey, that my socks. Hey, that my shirt. Hey, that my socks. Hey, that my pants." And this goes on until I'm done. So sometimes for a full half hour. And it's fucking hilarious. But like, I know these are your clothes, dude. I know they're yours. I know they're not mine. They're teensy-tiny. They don't fit on me. They fit on you. They're your clothes, and I know that, but someone has to keep them clean, and that someone is me. So please stop yelling at Daddy. But he doesn't understand. He thinks it's fun. Oh, look, another pair of my pants. How cool is that? Holy shit, that's my shirt. He just gets so stoked. But it gets incredibly distracting. And then he starts grabbing at the piles. You know, I'm getting stuff sorted and he's ripping it off the table. And I'm like, dude, you're complete. So I have to do it at night now when they're asleep as to not be yelled at and have my progress impeded the entire time. So yeah. Thus concludes our first ever Let the Hate Out segment. And to be honest with you, I do feel a little bit better. I feel better. I think I'll actually appreciate doing my kids' laundry now and choose to simply distance myself from people driving like maniacs and ignore those who chew with their mouths open and overcome the obstacle of daylight saving time. Again, if you have something you hate which you want me to air out, message me on Twitter or Instagram at WRBOLEN, at WRBolin. Let the hate flow through you. Speaking of daylight saving time, I've been talking about working on my morning routine for months now, and I'm about to tell you one of the new cornerstones of my mornings. So listen up. Daylight saving time took effect this week, which means this is the perfect time for you to optimize your morning routine now that there is more sunlight greeting us in the AM. Thank God. Winter is leaving, as Ned Stark never got to say. Anyway, the new addition to my morning routine is AG1. AG1 is helping me get the most out of my mornings, getting my day started off on the right foot and setting me up for a longer, more productive, and more energized day, and it can do the same for you. And if you've heard me complaining about my immune system because I always get sick in the winter, that's another reason I've added AG1 to my routine. It supports my immune health. AG1 is your daily drinkable scoop of vitamins, minerals, probiotics, and whole foods sourced ingredients in one. Validated by research and formulated for you, AG1 helps your whole body, brain, and gut health thrive. Unlike other supplements that come and go, AG1 is a habit that actually sticks because you can feel the difference. I've stopped drinking coffee many months ago, and before I added AG1 to my routine, it would take me a couple of hours usually to shake the grogginess and fog from my brain in the mornings. But since I've started drinking AG1 to start my day every day, the drowsiness fades quickly, my energy levels are up, my digestion has noticeably improved, and I'm glowing, baby, shining earlier in the day than I ever have before. When it comes to my health, I want something I can trust, and that's why I choose AG1 with science-backed ingredients and real benefits I can feel. AG1 makes it easy to support overall wellness every day. That's why we're partnering with AG1 as one of the new sponsors for our show. And AG1 is offering new subscribers a free $76 gift when you sign up. You'll get a welcome kit, a bottle of D3K2, and 5 free travel packs in your first box. So make sure to check out drinkag1.com/Bolin to get this offer. That's drinkag1.com/Bolin to start your day on a healthier note. Speaking of health, apparently scientists have discovered a new part of the human immune system. I thought we had covered that ground, but no, they're still digging and finding new stuff. According to the BBC, a new part of the human immune system has been discovered, and it is a gold mine, it says, of potential antibiotics, scientists have said. They've shown a part of the body known to recycle proteins has a secret mode that can spew out an arsenal of bacteria-killing chemicals. That's a mouthful. The researchers in Israel say it transforms our understanding of how we are protected against infection and gives a new place to look for antibiotics to tackle the growing problem of superbugs that resist our current drugs, which is apparently a much bigger issue than I realized. Obviously, as a result of the COVID pandemic, we all became aware that maybe our medicine isn't as up to snuff as we once thought it was. But it turns out antibiotics in general have become less and less effective over the decades of use and have sort of lost their potency against some of these superbugs and such that have sprung up. So we need this. This article on the BBC says the discovery centers on the proteasome, a tiny structure that is found in every cell of the body. Its main role is to chop up old proteins into smaller chunks so they can be recycled to make new ones. But a series of experiments detailed in the journal Nature shows the proteasome detects when a cell has been infected by bacteria. It then changes structure and role. It starts transforming old proteins into weapons that can rip open the outer layer of bacteria to kill them. Pretty gnarly. And with as much time as I spend sick every winter, I'm all for science figuring out how to keep us healthier more often. And on that note, I've definitely noticed that when I get sick and when like we have one of these bugs sweep through our house with our kids who are constantly bringing home illnesses, I am always significantly more worthless than my wife. Like if we're both sick, there is a huge difference in capability between her and I. Like when she's sick, she simply powers through, crushes the day, and carries on almost as if nothing is wrong, which is frustrating because when I'm sick, I am useless. I feel useless. I accomplish nothing. I want to lay around all day like a slug until it passes. And I've noticed this is not an uncommon phenomenon that we're experiencing in my home. It's so common, in fact, it's basically a cliche for dads at this point. Like, obviously, the difference does not just apply to dads and moms. It's men and women in general. But when you're a dad and you've got little kids, you get sick more often than dudes without kids. It's just, that's also science. It's just how it goes. Like, I am at this point regularly getting served memes on Instagram poking fun at how pathetic our wives find us all because we can't handle the common cold. So I know it's just not me. It's not just me. It's all of us out there suffering together. So I brought this up to my wife the other night. I was like, have you ever noticed how when we're both sick, like it's seemingly way worse to me and I look like a huge pussy by comparison because you're just like able to carry on and, you know, you still have the sniffles or whatever, but you're not like just like stuck in bed crying. And she made the terrible mistake of enlightening me to the scientific reasoning behind why men feel worse when sick than women. So now I have a valid excuse backed by science, and because I'm a hero who is sharing this with you today, so do you. So apparently, research suggests that men may have weaker immune systems due to hormonal differences, specifically lower levels of estrogen and higher levels of testosterone, which I think most people know is a thing, a difference, a differentiator between men and women. So testosterone, it turns out, can dampen the immune system. It makes us men more susceptible to severe symptoms when infected with a virus or bacteria. This phenomenon is sometimes referred to as the man flu, and it says, although the term can be considered dismissive of genuine illness, which is always how I feel. I'm like, I am genuinely sick. I really do feel terrible. This isn't an act. I'm not just trying to get out of folding 1,000 pairs of tiny pants and searching for the matching socks. I really am suffering here. But she can't understand because she doesn't have all this testosterone destroying her immune system like I do. It's not my fault. So if you're a dude who, like me, has felt shame and guilt over being significantly more worthless than your wife when you're both sick, it's not your fault. It's testosterone's fault. And God literally designed you to suffer more when you're sick. However, I cannot, in good conscience, recommend you mentioning any of this to your wife when you're sick. Do not do it. Don't regurgitate what I just said. Don't look it up on your phone. Trust me, it's real. Don't go there. It's just something for you to remember and hold close to your heart when you're going through it so that you don't feel so bad. But yeah, probably keep it to yourself, because when my wife explained this to me the other night and I responded, well, that sucks, she replied, oh, does it? So yeah, keep it to yourself. On another healthy note, when you work out, you need variety in your routine. And that variety, it needs to be sustainable. For years, when I worked out, I did pretty much the same thing every single time. And it wasn't really doing anything for me or my body eventually. I plateaued hard. That's why I love today's sponsor, Fitbod, so much. And if you follow me on social media, you are aware I really, really love and really, really use Fitbod every single week, multiple times a week. Fitbod customizes every workout and adapts as you improve to avoid boredom and plateaus on your journey to getting your bod fit. I'm coming up on my 300th Fitbod workout, a huge milestone for your boy. Since I started using Fitbod a couple years ago, I've gained probably roughly 20 pounds of muscle. I'm in the best shape of my life. That part's not arguable. Many have started calling me Ripped Ross. Others call me Fit Bill. Occasionally when I'm in public, which is not often, someone will shout, "You killed Bill Chungus!" Plus, I've completely avoided dad bod so far. All good things. With every exercise Fitbod serves you, there's a how-to video breaking down with an expert showing you exactly how to do each movement, and also a text description to help you understand what you're doing. So whether you are a visual learner or the other version of learner that I can't remember, they've got both. You can watch the video, read the text, and you know exactly what you're supposed to be doing. So no matter your level of experience in the gym, with Fitbod, you are good. I've got my Fitbod app pulled up right now. For today's workout, I'll be doing barbell bench press, stability ball hip thrusts, wide grip pull-ups, incline dumbbell rows, dumbbell flies, and stiff-legged barbell good mornings, hitting chest, glutes, back, and lower back. Can't wait to get huge. Fitbod is like having a personal trainer in your pocket that builds you a fully personalized workout. It lets you select your fitness goals, like how many workouts you want to do each week and what you want to focus on, like strength training or general fitness or powerlifting. You select what equipment you have available, if any, and your experience level, and it crafts personalized workouts just for you. And if you're like, I don't have any equipment or I only have a couple of dumbbells, it doesn't matter. If you don't have any equipment, it'll give you just like body weight workouts you can do, which are phenomenal. And again, it's all about like mixing it up and keeping your body guessing and giving you new stuff to do every time you work out, so you're not just doing the same thing. And if you only have a couple of dumbbells or free weights or whatever, like it'll give you enough things to do. I promise you. I've done a version with very little equipment, and I've done it with a lot of equipment that I have in my garage, and it's awesome either way. Level up your workout. Join Fitbod today to get your personalized workout plan. Get 25% off your subscription, or try the app free for 7 days at fitbod.me/Ross. That's fitbod.me, M-E/ROSS for 25% off your subscription, or to try the app free for 7 days. Many of you know I'm a bit of a weed guy, to pivot. Edibles, to be specific, are my vice of choice now and have been for a couple years. I'm coming up on 8 years sober from alcohol later this year. But because I am not well practiced at handling stress without some kind of substance to help me unwind, I have turned to the friendly cannabis plant to help me out. Now, something most stoners or pro-cannabis people don't really talk about, aside from the fact that, yes, weed can be addictive on some level, and yes, you can get a hangover from the insanely potent plants they've started breeding, is that getting high as an adult versus getting high as a kid is a very, very different thing. Different experience. Getting high as a kid, which I did frequently, is awesome. Because you're usually with friends. You know, maybe you watch a movie, eat a bunch of tasty treats that are terribly unhealthy without any immediate consequences, which is not a thing when you're an adult. Maybe you go wander around the mall, or you play video games, which are instantly twice as fun when stoned, or whatever. There's a bevy of activities that you do in social environments when you're, smoking weed as a kid or whatever. But yeah, as a teenager or college student, like smoking weed or eating edibles is a largely inconsequential activity depending on the legality in your state, city, principality, whatever. It just makes music sound better, food taste better, sex feel better, and generally makes life a little more fun during the onset of its effects. However, getting high when you're an adult is very different. It's very, very different, which I have discovered since becoming a real adult man around 32 years old. A lot of full-blown adults I know who use weed are typically doing so alone. So you get high alone after work or eat an edible before bed or whatever. And in many cases, rather than taking a load off, enjoying some consequence-free munchies, which aren't a thing as an adult because your metabolism has stopped, or playing video games because that world has passed you by, or hanging out with friends because they all have jobs and kids too. What you do instead is spend the entirety of the trip desperately trying not to contemplate your mortality and shortcomings while being crushed with all the horrifying realities of this adult world. It can be awful. It can be really awful. This is why you see so many adults complaining about getting anxious or having panic attacks when they smoke weed or take edibles. And I'm going to explain further. When you're high as a kid, you have no real responsibilities. Not really. You don't understand politics or how fucked up the world is. You have no real sense of the things that cause so much of humanity's suffering. And even if you do have some awareness of like war or economics or politics or whatever, as a kid, like as a young person, you can't possibly understand the gravity of it all, the weight of it all, right? Thank God. This is what makes childhood the best part of life by far. And anyone who argues otherwise is just lying to themselves to deal with their own circumstances. But as an adult, weed can take away your ability to suppress your subconscious's deepest fears. And this is why alcohol is so popular, by the way. Because when you drink alcohol, you simply stop giving a fuck about everything. It takes away all your inhibition, your self-consciousness, your worries, your pain, right? Temporarily, albeit. But it does. It relieves you of worry, which is the opposite of what weed will do if you've got a bunch of worries, which most adults do. It can be problematic. Weed will force you to reckon with the things that upset you most. Again, takes away that ability to like suppress your subconscious's deepest fears, whether it be like the state of the world or the state of your own subconscious, like the guilt you wrestle with from mistakes you've made, which is a thing that a lot of adults have an issue with. They keep going back to that time, that place when they did this or did that or didn't do this or didn't do that. And the guilt and the shame that they have around these things, it comes up, right? Or the anxiety of all the responsibility you have, the bills you have to pay, all the other shit you have to worry about. As an adult, there is no running from that shit. There is no running from it. And in some ways, getting high as an adult is actually a little bit like speed running therapy, which, as anyone who is in therapy knows, is often not fun. It can be painful, tedious work. It will force you to face all the things that are bugging you subconsciously. And it can be absolutely terrifying if you don't know how to handle that. But what I have found is this experience can help you somehow if you learn to let it. Like, rather than freaking out and trying to run from the anxiety that you're feeling when you're high, you sort of have to turn and face it. And this is not easy. It takes practice. It probably won't work the first time you try it. But with practice, I have found it can be done. I've done it a couple of times recently, and it was actually really rewarding, which I know sounds crazy, but it really was. You basically have to say to yourself, okay, I'm feeling some anxiety. I'm freaking out a little bit, but why? Ask yourself why. What is bothering me? And then let the answers actually come to you and genuinely address them. Often what we do when we panic or when we're anxious is we try to swat away the things. Stop thinking about it, stop thinking about it, stop thinking about it, make it go away, and it doesn't. That actually makes it worse. It compounds. It's like exponentially more powerful when you do that, right? So oftentimes what I have found is that my brain, as a result of just, years of living wrong and poor decision making and a lack of coping skills and general anxiety and an inability to relax, like my brain is not used to being relaxed. It's not used to letting go, right? So when I'm high, this is exponential, and my mind tries to find things to worry about, which are often things from my past. So I'm sitting there, the edible hits, I become very relaxed, right? Very chill, stoned, if you will. And my mind is like, oh shit, this isn't right. This isn't right. We spend our time worrying. We spend our time anxious. There are things out there to be terrified of and scared of, or past events to dwell on. Let's go focus on those things, because calm and relaxed are not normal resting states for me. Excuse me, drink of water time. So, my brain takes me to bad places because it's not used to being in good places. And it'll find things, from my past, things that no longer actually have any power over me. And once I remind myself of this, hey, you're feeling really chill right now. And your brain's not very used to that. So it's freaking out. Once I remind myself of that, the anxiety starts to dissipate and I can enjoy the high again. Because you have power over your mind, whether you know it or not. You have the ability to choose and dictate your thoughts. But oftentimes, we forget this. We think we're just slaves to what happens in our minds, in our thought processes, in our spirals. That's not the case. It's not the case. You lose sight of this in the hustle and bustle of life. So if next time you find yourself a little high and scared, try this. See if it works. And then set up a therapy appointment with a real therapist to hash it out further if needed. No pun intended. Remembering to drink enough water every day is a constant struggle for most of us, and as a result, a lot of us are walking around dehydrated without even realizing that it affects everything, like your energy levels, your mental health, everything. Fortunately, today's episode is also brought to you by Liquid IV. Powered by Live Hydra Science, Liquid IV helps you break the mold with flavors like their new Hydration Multiplier Sugar-Free Raspberry Lemonade, a bright, zero-sugar flavor combining notes of ripe, freshly picked raspberries with citrusy, zesty lemon. Look, a lot of us struggle with drinking enough water every day. That's why so many people are lugging around these comically large water bottles like the one I have here. But you don't have to spend this year dehydrated and exhausted from carrying that monstrous 30-pound water bottle everywhere. I personally still choose to lug the massive water bottle around, but rather than having to refill it 3 times a day, I just dump one of these little packets of Liquid IV into it so that it tastes 3 times better, with 3 times the electrolytes of leading sports drinks, and is significantly more hydrating than water alone. Break the mold and own your ritual, and try Liquid IV this year. Just 1 stick of Liquid IV and 16 ounces of water hydrates better than water alone. Powered by Hydra Science, an optimized ratio of electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients that turn ordinary water into extraordinary hydration. 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, 8 essential vitamins and nutrients, always non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free. Embrace your ritual with extraordinary hydration from Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code ROSS at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code ROSS at liquidiv.com. To close out today's show, I want to provide you all with a little taste of what we've got going on every week on patreon.com/Ross Bolin podcast. Every week we release an ad-free, exclusive, hour-long episode of RBP that is only available on Patreon, and these episodes are different than our public show. Producer Kade joins me on the microphone. We usually do a little catching up since we don't get to catch up all that often during the workday. And then we take hotline calls from our listeners via our voicemail hotline, 888-WR-BOLIN, to catch up with our listeners as well. So we play calls from listeners that include questions, hypotheticals, stories, and frankly, all kinds of crazy shit. And we respond to them. We have a lot of fun doing it. And over 500 members of the RBP gang are already on patreon.com/Ross Bolin podcast, riding with us every week and supporting our show. So if you want more RBP and you want ad-free exclusive episodes weekly and you miss producer Kade on the microphone, Patreon is the place to be. To demonstrate this, I will now share a couple of recent calls from recent episodes and let you enjoy the ensuing discussion. Here you go.
Ross, Kade. This is Adam from Cincinnati. I'm a couple episodes back on Patreon, and the Sending Out the Homies episode comes up, and you're talking about, why do I get sick all the time? What's going on? As a current medical student, my advice would be go to the doctor. I feel like I remember at some point you said, you just kind of haven't been in a while. Maybe health insurance isn't great, whatever. The people who are like kind of experts at sickness and like what to do and why they happen, and if there's something else going on that's causing you to get sick all the time that they could fix, and then you wouldn't be sick all the time. Those people are doctors. So, Ross, go to the doctor. Kade, you're in your 20s. So you definitely don't go to the doctor. So go to the doctor. It's important. There could be something wrong. You don't want there to be something wrong. So, get it taken care of. Love you, boys. Peace be with you. And also with you.
I don't think we've ever had anybody do our own sign-off for us on the hotlines.
No.
That was fun, Adam. Thank you for that, Adam from Cincinnati. Of course you want us to go to the doctor. You're in med school, and you're perpetuating the medical business of America. No. When's the last time you went to the doctor, Kade? Like a doctor for a checkup, or because you were sick, I guess.
Well, I don't get sick, so not for that reason. I think I went last July.
And you got a checkup?
Yeah, I did like a physical and everything.
No shit.
Yeah, because I haven't done one in like years. So I'm like,
how many years was it before that?
It's probably before I moved, like right before I moved to Austin.
Okay, so that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad. I don't think I've gotten a checkup since, I know I haven't gotten a well, maybe the first 4 years I lived in Austin, I went at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember getting a doctor and having a general physician. So it's been a decade for me.
Yeah.
And it's not good. There's a couple of reasons. One, I was raised by a dad who is anti-doctor. He does not go to the doctor, will not go to the doctor, doesn't like taking medicine, doesn't like doctors, doesn't like dentists. He has some kind of personal mental block from these things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So that was number one. And then number two, you know number two?
Oh, I know number two.
Number two was the false herpes diagnosis I got in college. That was from a doctor.
Yeah.
And it fucked up a whole month of my life, an entire month of my life, just completely destroyed because of this asshat who didn't recognize scabies all over my dick and balls, which was a real problem for me. So I those two things combined put me on this anti-doctor path, and I have like a piece of me that's like, dude, you need a general physician. Because he brought up like you might not have good health insurance. I definitely don't.
I don't. I pay $0 for my health insurance, so I know it's not good.
I definitely don't. I don't even know what mine is at this point. Like my wife put us on one of these that's not like traditional health insurance. So I don't even know what it covers, if anything. Also, health insurance seems to be kind of a giant racket anyway.
Yeah.
Like I keep hearing from people who are like, when they go to pick up a prescription with health insurance, it actually costs more than if they just pay without
pocket,
insurance. Which is fucking crazy because that sounds like the complete and total opposite of how it's supposed to work. All that is to say, now that I'm getting older, and I don't want to be like my dad in this particular way, because you need a doctor. And yeah, probably when I keep getting sick, I should probably go. Oh, there was another reason. One time I got sick for like 3 weeks. I felt like shit back in like, let's say 2015. And I went to a clinic, one of these, like
the 24-hour clinic.
Yeah, one of those things. And they shot me up with cortisone, which I've had lots of cortisone shots in my life for allergies, but this particular one, it's a steroid is what it is. Mm-hmm. And they hit me with like a big dose because I was fucked up. Like I'd been sick for weeks, like I said. And it messed me up even worse, but mentally. I was having panic attacks and like I had a weird episode, like emotional meltdown is the only way I know how to put it. And so that also put me in a place where I was like, you know what? Fuck doctors, man. I'm not going back. And then the SSRI thing happened.
Oh, yeah.
Where I had a psychiatrist who put me on this antidepressant that completely backfired and wrecked my mental health for like arguably 3 years. So I've just been like pushed away from the medical community.
Yeah, don't have the best relationship.
I just don't. And every time I ask one of my friends in Austin, I'm like, hey, do you have a good doctor? Like nobody does.
Yeah, I don't have like a general physician that I go to. Like partly because I switch like health insurances like every year, and like different doctors are on
different health insurance plans. Yeah.
So I haven't.
See, it's also confusing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things working against it. But like when I was a kid, it seemed straightforward.
Oh yeah, no, I had the same doctor like my entire childhood.
I went to
up.
my pediatrician until I was like fucking 17.
Yeah.
The same lady who had been, grabbing my balls and telling me to cough when I was like a 6-year-old was the same lady doing it 10 years later. Her name was Dr. McKay. She was a great lady.
Yeah.
I hope she's still kicking it out there because she seemed ancient even when I was a small child. But she was phenomenal. And I had an ear, nose, and throat doctor. If I had something happen with the ear, nose, and throat, we had the whole doctor set up because of my mom.
Yeah.
Not my dad. Anti-doctor dad. But now I got nothing. I've got a therapist.
That's the only thing I got going for me right now. Yeah.
That's it. I've got an eye doctor.
I don't even have one of those.
I got one of those. They make me go. Because I didn't go for like a decade. And I was ordering contact lenses illegally through Indonesia. The great country of Indonesia.
Yeah.
And then I went to the eye doctor because I had a problem. And they were like, you fucking dickhead. First of all, you have a partially detached retina. Second of all, you've been getting contact lenses without a prescription. We can no longer be your doctor if you're going to continue to do that. And so you have to come in every year. So I go in.
Yeah. See, that's another thing. I need an eye doctor. I haven't been.
I've got a good
since
one.
before I moved here, and I've been getting like my prescriptions like online. You can take like every year, you can take like a little 5-minute test, just like online to like test your vision. And they're usually like, yeah, no, you're good. Same prescription. So I'm just like,
What?
I can't, like my contacts suck. They always get so dry.
Oh, dude, you got to go in.
I know, I need to go
You got to go in.
And so, but I just like don't want to. Like I don't know who to go to, so I just like do the online thing. And I'm just like, my vision has to be like so fucked now.
Well, I don't have a recommendation because my place is in Bee Caves, which is near Westlake, and it's clearly like the rich people eye doctor.
Yeah.
And like my yearly appointment is like $200. Like it's,
That's like it's not covered
insanely
on
expensive.
health insurance, so
it's expensive.
yeah, that's why I don't want to go.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It's why I didn't go for years and years and years and years. But once you're in a situation where you have like the dry eye problem, I had the same issue, and they gave me a different type of lens, and now I know I haven't dealt with the dry eye thing in like 2 years.
Yeah, that's the thing, like the contacts I had before they like made me switch for whatever reason was fine. Totally liked it. And then ever since I've had these new contacts, they have been awful. And I can't switch them because you have to get a prescription from your eye doctor and all that. And like it has to be that specific brand. It can't be like a different brand, even though it's just like whatever like the numbers are.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's not great.
no.
On the sickness front, one of the other potential solutions on the horizon. So my wife a few years ago got us this thing where you shit in a bag and you send your poo to this company, and they make you a custom probiotic based on your gut biome, which they get out of your poo poo, and these prebiotics they send you, you take them and they're like customized for you, and they're supposed to help a lot.
Yeah.
No free shout outs, so I'm not going to say the name of the company, but my wife did it. She pooed in the bag and sent her poo in, and then got them, and she's been taking them for years, and she swears by them. And I never did it because it was too weird of a concept for me.
Right.
And I didn't even have her explain to me how it works, so I was just imagining all she told me is that you put this like net over your toilet next time you go number 2, and it catches your poo.
Right. Yeah.
And that's as far as I let her go. And I was like, there's no way I'm taking like a giant man shit into a net, putting it in a bag, and going to like the post office to mail this to this company.
You're just mailing shit.
Mailing shit. But it turns out you actually poo into the net, and then you only have to fill up like a little tube with your poo. So they send you like a tool that you like scrape the poo into the tube, and then you mail the tube in the prepackaged thing that they send you. And now that I've been sick again for the first 2 months of the year for the second year in a row, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, the poo in that net,
so she got me a new like poo collection kit.
Nice.
And I'm going to do it at some point in the next couple weeks. I'm just working my way up to it, because conceptually it still bothers me a little playing around in my own poo. But yeah, so that hopefully those prebiotics will help. I'm going to do that.
Nice.
I won't go to the doctor, but I will shit into a net and then collect my own shit and send it in the mail to a company to make me a prebiotic.
What do you think they do with the poo after?
That's a good question. I don't know. Probably flush it,
Yeah.
down the old toilet.
God.
Anyway, thanks, Adam from Cincinnati.
That has to be such a shitty job.
Yeah, it's a literal shitty job, man. But they must be killing it, People pooing in nets and sending them their poo. That's the company. That's a whole company.
You must have to really love your job.
Poo analysis.
Yeah. How do you get into that?
What I'm curious about is like, how do they analyze the shit? They take your poo and then what?
I'm sure they run it through like a bunch of different tests.
I know, but like what
tests, I don't know what those tests.
What do they make, like a poo slide and look at it under a microscope?
Probably. That's one of the tests.
Is there AI involved, Who knows?
Who knows?
I'll try to find out more
Yeah.
when I do my net poo collection test.
All right.
Yeah.
Looking forward to hearing about it.
Anyway, next call.
My man Ross and Cadet Kade, this is your new fan, Corey, also known as Chocolate Sensation Sweep in the Nation. Hope you guys are having a good one like I am today. I just had a question for you. Do you guys use, which kind of deodorant do you guys prefer? The antiperspirant that stops you from sweating, or the just regular deodorant where you're still going to sweat, but at least you smell good? I prefer not the antiperspirant kind. I like regular deodorant because your body's supposed to sweat, and they taught me in the military that you're not supposed to stop your body from sweating. Also, on that thought, do you prefer to use body wash or bar soap? I'm a body wash guy. I just have a thing about picking up bar soap and putting it on my body, especially if it's one that is like shared in the house. I just can't do it. Would love to hear your thoughts, and hope you guys have a good one.
New fan Corey.
Chocolate Sensation Sweeping the Nation.
Great vibes.
Yeah.
Great
Love it.
vibes, Corey. Great call. I don't know the answer to this first question. Antiperspirant or deodorant, what kind of brand do you rock with? Why isn't it both?
It should be both, yeah.
Sometimes it is. I swear to God, I've gone to the grocery store and bought the Dove deodorant that I use that is antiperspirant / deodorant. But 9 out of 10 times when I go to get new deodorant, which is why I've turned to Amazon, and now I'm getting them in bulk. I get a year's worth delivered at once by accident.
You just have a drawer full of deodorant.
It's literally under my bathroom sink. A big section is
like
just all the
box,
deodorants
yeah.
lined up. But I can never, 9 out of 10 times, I can't find one that says both. So I end up having to pick, and I'm like, which one do I pick?
Well, it sounds like the one that makes you smell good.
The antiperspirant or the
Yeah.
deodorant? So the deodorant's the one that makes you smell good.
Yeah.
The antiperspirant is the one that makes you not sweat.
Yeah. Which I also think is kind of bullshit. I feel like I've gotten those in the past and like I still sweat through it. So I'm just like, I don't know if it's even worth it at this point.
Yeah, so I'm rocking currently Dove Men Care Clean Comfort Non-Irritant Antiperspirant 48-hour powerful protection. Looks like this.
Okay.
That's what I'm rocking.
48 hours. Wow. You're protected for a
Which
while.
is a fucking lie.
Yeah.
It's a fucking lie. I still put it on, I still put a little bit more, I put it on in the morning,
Right.
and then I put some on before I go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Because typically by the time I'm getting ready for bed, if I'm not going to shower that night, which sometimes I don't, I'll smell, and I'm like, yeah, this is wearing off. I need some more.
Yeah. No, yeah, I'll put mine on in the morning and then like I'll work out if I'm doing something after like running or yoga, I'll put it on again. Just so I don't smell terrible around everyone else. But yeah, I used Old Spice. That's my go-to. And I'm the same as you. I don't know what I get. Is there something with like the color? Like I know like there's like the white deodorant, and like the blue or clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that have something to do with it?
I don't know. I
feel
know,
like
man.
the white one is like the anti
I think you're right.
perspirant. Yeah.
And then
but I hate
the
that
blue
one.
one that slides on more liquidy
Yeah.
is the deodorant, right?
Yeah.
I think you're right. But I also think it's brand dependent.
Right.
I was an Old Spice guy for years. Do you remember what happened?
No, what happened?
I started getting a rash.
Ooh. Your body just hates you.
My body it really does, though. It's not a lie. Just out of nowhere, all of a sudden, my deodorant started giving. I was Old Spice for like a decade, dude, and then all of a sudden, it turned on me, and I had to switch up. And that's when I found this Dove non-irritant shit. But then even this has been a fucking confusing ride because of the antiperspirant versus deodorant thing, and my confusion around why it can't just be both.
Why not both? Yeah.
What is happening?
But I hate the white ones because like they'll get on your clothes and stuff.
Yeah,
Like, especially
gotta
if
be
you're wearing
careful.
black.
Gotta be
Oh, get
careful.
all over it.
Yeah, I usually wait a minute before I put my shirt on. I put the deodorant, and then I just stand there.
Just like your arms up, let it.
And I count to 60.
That's good enough.
It's good enough for me.
Yeah.
I still notice it on my shirts every once in a while, though,
Yeah.
and that pisses me right off.
Yeah.
Body wash or bar soap?
Am I going first? Okay.
Yeah, you.
I do both actually.
What do you mean you do both?
So I use the bar soap for my 2-hole. So I do like antibacterial. I'll put it on the loofah.
Oh, okay.
to-
Not direct on the 2-hole.
No, yeah.
Because that sounds and
Yeah, no.
visually is weird.
Yeah. No, I put it on the loofah, go to town, and I use the body wash for my body.
Do you still use the loofah with the body wash?
No, I have a different.
So
Like,
the loofah
scrubber.
is just for your
strictly
two-hole.
for the 2-hole. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good. I like this strategy.
Mm-hmm.
It's well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a body wash guy. Just the body wash. I don't mind the barred soap.
No, I mean, if it's there, I'll use it. But like, I prefer the.
It's just slippery.
Yeah, dude, I
tougher to
drop
handle.
it all the time. Thank God I'm not in a prison.
And even if well, there's that. But you're not.
Yeah.
But it's just annoying.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And then you got to put it somewhere. You got to store it somewhere.
Yeah, I don't.
And then it gets grungy.
Yeah, it gets gross. There's like hair all over it.
Yeah, man. There's too much going on there.
Mhm.
I just like a simple bottle of body wash. I squeeze onto the loofah,
Yeah.
and then I lather myself with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right. Exactly.
simple, problem solved,
Yeah.
clean as a whistle. I finally got back in the gym yesterday.
So what, you've been out for? I guess you've been sick.
Oh yeah. All 2025 so far. I've been sick. I think I've only gotten to work out like 7 times this year.
Yeah,
or
you
something
haven't
like that.
been posting your.
No, and I didn't post one yesterday
gym
either because
pics.
I forgot.
Yeah.
But I also told Kate off mic I went for a run the day before that. I ran 2 miles and my knee still hurts from just that 2-mile run, and nobody knows why. But I worked out yesterday and that felt great. Since we're talking about deodorant and body wash and shit, God, I missed it. I can't. Now here's the problem. Now that I've gotten into a really good fitness routine with our sponsor FitBod for like. Really, it's probably 2 years with FitBod, but 3 total that
Right.
I've been in a good routine. When I can't work out, everything falls apart. Mental health wise.
Yeah.
I feel like dog shit. Like depression sinks in pretty fucking quickly. It only takes like 5 days of not working out, and I'm like, I think I'm going to die.
Mm-hmm.
So, felt really good to get back in there.
Yeah. No, I'm saying like I go like 4 times a week, and I do like running and yoga. Like if I don't do those things, I'm a mess.
Yeah. They're maintenance,
Yeah.
required maintenance at this point.
Like even when I don't want to go to the gym, I still go and just like do a little something.
And I remember making fun of gym people in my early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at you fitness freaks. Good for you. Very dedicated to the gains, huh? Cool. But now I'm like, oh, they had the right idea and I was a miserable piece of shit. I should have been doing that the whole fucking time. That's something I'll try to pass on to my kids. Don't wait until you're 30 to start figuring out that it's important to take care of your body and mind, or it's going to be a long ride.
Yeah. Or else you're gonna be sick for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I mean-
Knees hurting,
Fucking panic attacks
Yeah.
and doctor's visits constantly, and you're going to be
getting rashes from using deodorant. Like, it's
miserable.
gonna be awful.
Oh, God, don't even, yeah. But I'm back at it. I'm going to
Yeah.
do another one today.
Good shit. Good
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. Next call. All right, that's it. That's all you get for free. Now head over to patreon.com/Ross Bolin Podcast and support the show by subscribing for just $5 per month to gain access to our entire backlog. We're talking hundreds of ad-free exclusive episodes available only on Patreon that you have never heard before, plus a new episode every week featuring producer Kade and I. We'll have one later this week as well. There's also a 7-day free trial you can access if you're like, I don't know, maybe it's not for me. Okay, well, go check it out. Use the 7-day free trial. During the 7-day free trial, you have access to the entire catalog of all the ad-free exclusive episodes. Listen to a bunch of them, see how they work. Listen to last week's. That one was a lot of fun. Check out the backlog, and if you love it, you can stick around. If not, no harm, no foul. No hard feelings. Patreon.com/Ross Bolin Podcast. We would also appreciate it if every week on our show you would support our sponsors. That's why the show still exists, because we have sponsors who support the show. We have listeners who support the sponsors. It's a circle of life. It keeps everybody happy. We have a new sponsor this week, AG1. Go to drinkag1.com/Bolin and get that free $76 gift when you sign up with the welcome kit and everything else that comes with it. AG1. Also, fitbod.me/Ross to get 25% off your subscription or try the app free for 7 days. If you want to work out like me, fitbod.me/Ross, and of course liquidiv.com, code Ross for 20% off your first order. Support our sponsors. They are the ones keeping the show alive and well. And those are the 2 ways you can support us and make sure RBP continues to live on into the future, by subscribing on Patreon and supporting our sponsors every week. And you can see the details in the description of this episode for both Patreon and for our sponsors of this episode. Formula Bone, hosted by Jared J-Bone Borislow, is back in full swing. The offseason is over. We got our first race coming up this weekend, the Australian Grand Prix, to get the F1 season kicked off. J-Bone will be giving you all of the F1 coverage you need all season long over on Formula Bone, which you can watch on youtube.com/@FormulaBone, where you should be subscribed. You can follow @Formula Bone on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, YouTube Shorts, everywhere, @Formula Bone. You can also listen to the show on the podcast platforms, but watching it on YouTube is definitely the best way to take down Formula Bone. So if you're an F1 fan, give Formula Bone a shot. You will love it if you love F1. On Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, our TV and film podcast here at Bolin Media that I host with one of my best friends of over 25 years now, Barrett Dudley, we're currently covering 2 shows, The White Lotus Season 3, which is on our public podcast, available wherever you are getting RBP. If you go check out Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, otherwise known as OCC, you will see all of our companion podcasts for The White Lotus, which we release every week after the new episode of the show comes out. We are also covering Severance on OCC's Patreon page, patreon.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles. So if you want companion podcasts for the back half of Severance Season 2, episodes 5 through 10, they're only available on OCC's Patreon, just to clear up any confusion there. But we are in a current incredible run of scheduling for TV. As soon as we are finished up with The White Lotus, we're going straight into The Last of Us Season 2, which I believe goes straight into A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, the new Game of Thrones show that's coming out on HBO later this year. So it's going to be a lot of fun in 2025 on Oysters, Clams, and Cockles. Go subscribe, check it out. Thank you. Means a lot. And that'll do it for today's show. We appreciate y'all so much. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting RBP. Thanks for listening. Thanks for telling your friends and family about our podcast and the other Bolin Media programming. Being a small business, we rely a lot on word of mouth from our listeners and from our fans. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Until next time, remember, you are not alone. Peace be with you, and also with you.